work. It's untitled. It's one of his researches and one of his stories of knowing people. He's a person who really wants to know people. He's a person who knows how to listen. And he was wandering around different places in Amsterdam, as I mentioned before, being around, surrounded by people who were put on the margin, like also these two incredibly interesting guys, father and son, who were living on one of the canals on this boat, and they were walking around earning some money with this, how do we call it, lina? You know, it's this street instrument that you turn around and... We call it lina. Okay, so we have... and then, of course, they liked to drink and they drank this money. But they were smart. They were playing lotto. And they were even smarter. They played it in Germany because of the taxes or whatever. They knew why they went there. And they won. They won. They went to collect the money. And then they dressed well, but they didn't buy themselves a new house or a big car or something. No, they dressed themselves as servants. So they bought this white sacco. And 1 week, father was served by son. And next week, the father was serving a son, cooking, cleaning his shoes. And they were paying to each other. So they were spending the money, but the money was staying constantly in the house. So that's just one of many, many stories that Ulay met or somehow became part of during his life. And this is also from 70s Amsterdam. So maybe...
Yeah, actually we are now here standing in the area of the exhibition when actually the image of Ulay is slowly vanishing. So here you can see that actually the identity gets directly transferred to the others. So let's say to these two marginals that actually Ulay met on the street. This work on this side and this, it's actually one of Ulay's seminal pieces, which is called Fototod, which means in German photo death. And actually it's a work where Ulay kind of symbolically killed the photography. It's one of the last, let's say, photographic projects. After that he started to work intensively on performance because he a lot of times quotes that body is medium par excellence. So actually photography, if you have a photo camera, it's already a prosthetic media that's involved. So there is no like direct relation. And also the photogram you saw in the beginning, the imprint of the body, it's a process of so-called elementary photography, which is a photography that's used without a photo camera. It's used, actually, the artist only uses light, photographic paper and chemicals to produce this photography. And actually in this particular case, it was in '76 in famous art center, the Apple. Actually Ulay exhibited these photographies. And actually they were not fixed, and when the public entered the space, Ulay turned off the lights and the images started to become black because they were not fixed. And actually people didn't know what to expect. They didn't know what's happening, you know, and the image, a beautiful image was vanishing in front of their eyes. And maybe from the perspective of today, this doesn't seem something radical, but we have to know that this was 70s. The photography was not at all part of, let's say, the visual art canon in the museums. And this was actually a radical gesture, and of course Ulay's direct comment on, let's say, how far can we push the limit of photography. And this was actually really a kind of symbolically, he marked, let's say, the death of photography and the transition to performance.